All right, what is going on, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. I am doing well. This is Hollywood Hangout. I am Boxman, and I've got what I think is a really good movie for you guys tonight. I was supposed to do it last week. I completely forgot I wasn't going to be in town, but I'm back this week doing the same movie I was going to do last week. I'm also recording for YouTube here, so it will be live on, or not live, but it will be on YouTube later. Just want to, just don't like doing it live on YouTube anymore because my internet doesn't seem to agree with it. So the best thing I can do is just do what I'm doing here, get the audio version live, record for YouTube. I tried to do it with the Elvis episode, and I had an echo. It did not work well. But this episode, I already checked. I should not have an echo. And I'm trying out Streamlabs instead of OBS tonight. I think OBS was taking up a lot of my computer, which it does. So, anyway, the movie I am talking tonight is a movie I have not. Is a type of movie I really have not done before. Last of the Dogmen from 1995. It's I really haven't done a movie like this. I've done action movies, but not like an action adventure western type movie. I've really never done a movie like this. I don't think I've ever talked about Tom Berenger in a movie. So that's pretty exciting to get to talk about Tom Berenger. It's badass anyway. So many movies you can think of with Tom Berenger from, Platoon and, the Substitute movies, Major Leagues, all those movies. We'll definitely talk about those as we're moving through here. But this is really a great movie. I would call it more of an adventure movie with a little bit of action. But it's more of an adventure movie that digs into the Cheyenne dog soldiers, the Native American kind of clan. This is kind of what this movie digs into a lot, and I will get into the Cheyenne dog soldiers as we're talking about the movie, because that is exactly what the movie is all about. So we'll be talking about that. I've only have 5 clips to play. Honestly, a lot of this movie is really just watching the journey through the movie, as they go through, as they find this tribe of Indians, as they find where they are, and eventually get captured by them. It's really a movie that I'd rather you watch than play a bunch of clips. I have 5 clips I will play throughout me talking about the movie, and we'll just kind of do it that way. I'm going to play the trailer for you in just a couple of minutes here, but let's go ahead and just talk a little bit, though, about the movie. It's kind of, like I said, it is a great movie. You know what? Let's play the trailer first. Let's play the trailer so you can get an idea of what the movie is, and we will go from there. So I've got the trailer right here. I've got it loaded up. It should be, I hope everything's good with the volume and everything. Streamlabs isn't, you can't do any, unless I got them in here wrong. I don't know how to pause and everything, but here we go. Let's go ahead and play this. Ooh, wait a minute. I need to take this off first. Hold on a second. Let me get this picture off first. Picture gone. This is up. Here we go.
You boys have any luck?
Does the phrase needle in the haystack ring a bell?
Try down there by Buck Creek. They might have got that farm.
Busload of state prisoners went off the highway last night. 3 escaped.
I'm telling you what I told you, Deputy, not interested.
I need you on this one. Drunk or sober, you're still the best tracker in the state.
Somebody's out there.
Who are you?
A man faced with a mystery.
They're dead.
All of them?
No bodies, nothing.
and a woman searching for the past
Where'd you find this?
In the oxbow, somebody got to those men before I did. There was blood everywhere in that.
are about to uncover a secret hidden for 130 years.
My God. Don't move.
Does breathing count?
Unbelievable. From this time on, you are Cheyenne.
We can't let anything happen to these people. No one must ever find out.
All right, man, let's move out.
Damn him.
How much time do we have?
Half a day, maybe less.
The Yellow Wolf says I should stay and fight.
They'll get slaughtered.
The Cheyenne or the troopers?
Tom Berenger, Barbara Hershey, last of the Dogmen.
All right, so there's the trailer. Now, if you do watch that on YouTube, you'll see it's the usual 90s trailer. Gives away almost the whole goddamn movie. But hey, no big deal, right? No big deal. It was still great right there. That was a great trailer right there. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But like I said, it's really a good movie to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to leave a few parts out. I'm purposely not going scene by scene in this one. I think this is one that you really need to watch. If you have not seen Last of the Dogmen from 1995, this is definitely one you need to seek out. I believe you can actually watch this right now on a couple of streaming services. I'm not sure which ones. I'll try to look that up as we're going. But as I said, this is kind of an adventure film, which I really haven't done. It's all it's set in the Montana Rockies, and you'll definitely see that. Film was, though, shot in Alberta, Canada, just because it's the best place. That they have the mountains, they have everything already there, so that's really where it was. It was in the wilderness of Alberta, Canada, where the movie was shot. The natural scenery was just right for the film, the atmosphere, everything. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that there was definitely great scenery, great landscapes. Now, the title of the movie is, again, The Last Dogmen. It kind of refers to the mythical dog soldiers of the Cheyenne tribe, as I was mentioning earlier. Now, these guys were elite soldiers, basically, in the tribe. They were more than just hunters. I will get into the dog soldiers in just a minute here, actually, before we get into the rest of the film. But it kind of, that is what the title is referring to, is the dog soldiers. And again, they were the elite of the elite, known for their bravery, their fighting skills, and basically this film just portrays and shows them kind of as badasses that they are. Now, if we go through the Cheyenne dog soldiers, though, if we look a little bit into them a little bit, they were basically one of 6 elite military societies within the Cheyenne Nation. They played a huge role, not only in the culture, the warfare, but also in governing the tribe. Actually, law enforcement roles is what they played. But they were... I'm going to have to let my dog out. So everybody just give me 1 second here to let out my dog. Everyone will excuse me. Come on, Rose. Out. Come on, girl. Come on. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I apologize. I'd rather do that earlier than later. So, but they were actually part of a broader warrior society than just really just part of the tribe. They were, like I said, the elite. So basically, their roles were they were the defense. So they were the protectors of the tribe. They were asked. They were tasked with defending the Cheyenne from anyone else that came on their land, especially when the white settlers came around. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But again, they were the law enforcement of their tribe. They maintained the internal discipline within the tribe. During gatherings, hunts, the dog soldiers enforced the rules, and they made sure everybody followed them too. They were the warriors, as we say. Their symbol was a sash or a dog rope, which they would take with them during combat, and they were also the hunters for their tribe also. So they had a lot of different, roles and duties, not just the hunters, but definitely more than that right there. So let's jump down a little bit here. Let's go into this. Now, during the 19th century, when all the white settlers started coming in and going on the Cheyenne land, the dog soldiers were actually the most fierce opponents of the expansion of America. By the mid-1800s, the tensions between Native American tribes and U.S. settlers was pretty high, and it had already led to a few conflicts, including the Colorado War, Sand Creek Massacre of 1864, and the Battle of Beecher Island in 1868. And the dog soldiers were involved in most of these conflicts that were happening around the world. And they were basically like the first guerrilla-style warfare, going and raiding the settlers and the U.S. military forces at the time. So, despite all that, they have still left a lasting legacy around the, obviously there was a movie made about him, so there's obviously a huge legacy about him. And obviously the Native Americans even still talk about them. They're still remembered in history for their courage and bravery and how they fought wars and everything. So, but they were more than just the soldiers, more than just the hunters, more than just that. And that is what this movie focuses on and shows. So we will... as we go through the movie, you'll get a look at them. You actually just got to look at them if you're when you watch the trailer. If you're listening to this and you want to go on YouTube, please do go check it out on YouTube. Watch the trailer there. You can get it on YouTube also. So if you want to check that out. Now, this movie is directed by Tab Murphy. Now, Tab Murphy is known for his work on animated films like Disney's Tarzan, Brother Bear. This film, Last of the Dogmen, is one of his very few, few live-action projects, and kind of shows that he was able to blend the history with the fictional, because there's a little fiction in here too. But he wrote this script in the early 1980s, and it took over 10 years for him to get financing for the movie. He was actually in a Chicago Tribune article. Murphy said, "This to me is a small personal story because it really is reflective of a lot of my interests growing up: the wilderness, Indians, animals, adventure." Now, but this also was the first and last film that he directed. Now, he has written a ton of stuff. Matter of fact, he's still writing stuff now. A lot of the cartoons that you have seen out there, he has been a writer for. Let me go back. I had his IMDb pulled up. Give me a second. Batman Year One, the new Thundercats episodes, Teen Titans Go, he wrote a couple of those episodes. But like we said, Brother Bear, Tarzan, Dark Country, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, he wrote that also. So he's still doing writing, and what he's doing now is all animation also. Seems like he was more comfortable in his element with the animation. So it looks like that might be where he stayed. But but now here's a weird thing. If you do get this movie, you need to watch which one you get, because you can get two different versions. The U.S. version is actually narrated by Wilford Brimley, the diabetes guy. He is actually narrating the movie. But if you get the UK version, which I do have that, I do have this movie on DVD, but I did not want to go to my shed and dig it out. But the version I have here is not narrated, but the version I originally saw on VHS, my dad used to show me this movie all the time. That one was narrated by Wilford Brimley. I believe we got it at a little video store. Not a Blockbuster. This was out in East Texas when we first bought that place. So, but the original one is narrated by Wilford Brimley. I do not have that version. And this not only was the last film directed by Tab Murphy, but this was the last official film distributed by and co-produced by Savoy Pictures, which went into bankruptcy pretty soon after and had sold off all the films, and everything was delayed, and everything else didn't get released at the time. So this was one of the last films of that company, and no, let's not blame this film for making them go under. Although this film was a box office disappointment. It really was. The the budget for this film was $25 million. The box office for this movie only drew 7,024,389. That's not a lot. Now, the movie might not have broke box office records, but it did leave a lasting impression on the people who watched it. And honestly, this kind of did become one of those kind of cult films, that are out there. It's not a hugely known film, but people who know this film definitely are like, oh, it's such a good movie. It's a great movie. Oh my God. So if someone has seen this movie, they have definitely been inspired by it in one way or the other. So let's get into some of these main characters, folks. How about we do that? Let's do that. So we've got Tom Berenger, who plays Lewis Gates. He's a bounty hunter who's got kind of the usual westernish kind of thing. He's the bounty hunter with the kind of gritty past, kind of lives alone out in the country, just out at the bar. That's where they know him. Kind of works for law enforcement as a bounty hunter, so, they all know him. And his character, though, kind of has that rough exterior that you'd expect from a bounty hunter, but changes a little bit throughout the movie. We'll see. We'll definitely see that. We have Dr. Lillian Sloan, played by Barbara Hershey. Now Barbara Hershey plays an anthropologist with expertise in Native American history. And she's not only a smart woman, but she's very curious and becomes basically his partner when he's going out there and looking and tracking. So then we have Sheriff Deegan, played by Kurtwood Smith. That's right, folks. Yeah, that guy from that 70s show. That's exactly who I'm talking about. He plays the local sheriff here, hires Gates to track down, starts out being 3 escaped convicts, but it becomes more than that, as we'll play throughout the movie. And there's a dog in the movie, and the dog is named Zip. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, I just posted a little picture of the dog with one of the girls in the movie. The dog was actually found without tags, and one of the trainers loved him so much that because he was a huge part of the movie, she actually adopted him after the movie, one of the dog trainers. So pretty cool right there, that basically he was just found and they just kind of took him in and let him do his thing. So those are the main characters. Let's kind of get into the main characters just a little bit. We've got Tom Berenger, as I said, in the movie playing Lewis Gates is his character in the movie. That's who he's playing. Was born Thomas Michael Moore, 1949, May 31st. Born in Chicago. Mostly known for his pretty intense, gritty roles that we've all seen in movies like Platoon, in movies like The Substitute, movies even Major League, even in TV shows like Hatfields and McCoys, which he was just in and actually won a Primetime Emmy for that one. But this guy is just absolutely amazing. And actually, he started out on the soap opera, One Life to Live. That's where he started out. So, but definitely we've seen this guy in a lot of fucking movies. And he is, and I mean, for Platoon, he was even nominated for the Best Supporting Actor. And, that kind of made him a leading man in a lot of these movies because that was 1986. Major League was 89. Then we started seeing him in The Substitute. Now, he only did one of the Substitute movies. Treat Williams took over for 2, 3, and 4, which I like. Not many people are going to like them. But I enjoyed the Substitute movies, which came about in, like I said, in 96. But he's another guy, though, that really likes to kind of keep his personal life personal. Doesn't really have a lot about his kids. He has been married 4 times, does have 6 children, and just kind of keeps to himself. He's definitely got his contributions to the industry, but just sort of keeps to himself. He got a career that's lasted over 5 decades. He's got nothing to fucking prove anymore, Tom Berenger. Absolutely nothing to prove anymore. So, but that is Tom Berenger. Then we go back and we have Dr. Lillian Sloan in the movie, played by Barbara Hershey. Now, Barbara Hershey has been in a few things, obviously. Now, another one whose early career took off very early in the 1960s, made her film debut in 1968, actually, with a drama called With 6 You Get Egg Roll. This is right around the time she adopted her name. Her original name is Barbara Lynn Herzstein. Good idea. Barbara Hershey is much better. But she was in some very early films that you probably have not heard of. The Baby Maker, Boxcar Bertha, The Stuntman. I haven't heard of him either. But Hannah and Her Sisters is kind of where she got her start, like in the, not her start, but one of her most recognizable roles for her. But she was in movies like Beaches, Portrait of a Lady, A Dangerous Woman. She's really in a lot of dramas, kind of small town type dramas. The Natural, she was in. The Right Stuff, she was in. So she's definitely had a great career, even into the 2000s, like 2001, Lantana, Black Swan in 2010, Insidious in 2010. She's been in TV shows, Chicago Hope, Once Upon a Time, The Mountain. She's definitely been, keeps herself busy. And she was also in a relationship in the 70s with David Carradine, who I talked about just a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about the Dragon, the Bruce Lee movie. We were talking about David Carradine stealing that part from him. So there we go right there. So there you go. And in the 90s, she actually married Stephen Douglas, and that lasted for a year. I don't know who she's married to anymore. But then we've got Sheriff Deegan, Kurtwood Smith. That's right, we all know Kurtwood Smith. Basically, a lot of people know him from that 70s show, but let's be honest, I'm old. I know him as Clarence Boddicker from 1987's RoboCop. That's where I know the guy from. Like I said, a lot of people are going to know him from that 70s show. He's also done some voices in Rick and Morty, and regular show, but he's been on TV shows like The X-Files, Broken Arrow, Deep Space Nine, Star Trek. So he's been on a lot of shows and movies. But he's more, believe it or not, you may know him from that, but he is actually most known by lots of people for his work on Star Trek Voyager and The X-Files, just because of his voice. He's done the video games and all that stuff, but he's another one, though, that kind of keeps quiet about his life. He does have 2 children with his wife, Joan Perkle. So, that's, another part of another character, or another actor in Hollywood that just kind of keeps quiet, keeps to himself. But, all right, let's go through this a little bit here. We're going to start talking a little bit about the movie now as we go through. I cannot believe it's only been 30 minutes. Folks, this might not be a very long show. I really don't have that much more. And as I said, I'm going to play clips as we go through. But like I said, I really feel this is one of those movies I would rather everybody watch than me sit here and play every clip of the movie. But we will go ahead and play a few of these. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play. There's a DVD extra here. I think this might be the one that's 6 minutes long. Either this one or the other one is 6 minutes long. I'm not sure which one. But I'm going to play one of the DVD extras. It kind of goes through a little bit. It'll give you an idea, a little more of an idea before I get into the actual plot and an overview of the movie. So, and it'll give me a chance to get a drink. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, folks. Here we go.
Deep in the Montana wilderness, a century-old mystery is about to be revealed.
Who are you?
Tom Berenger and Barbara Hershey star in the Western fantasy Last of the Dogmen.
Action, guys!
A prison bus crash sends 3 escaped convicts on the run.
There's only one thing standing in their way. 4,000 square miles of the roughest country God ever put on a map.
Because he's in a particularly rough area, they need to go to civilian trackers, bounty hunters, more or less. That'll be $4,000 cash per man plus expenses.
Tom Berenger is Lewis Gates, a down-on-his-luck cowboy and expert wilderness tracker who follows the convicts' trail deep into the uncharted Oxbow territory. And it isn't long before Gates holds the key to an ancient secret.
He discovers an arrow in this meadow, gets his imagination going wild, thinking that it might Indians, who knows.
Personally, I love those kind of stories. What if, Close Encounters, what if, E.T., what if there were Indians still living in some remote part of a wilderness?
Quite a story.
Barbara Hershey is Lillian Sloan, the anthropologist Gates turns to for help.
For an anthropologist to stumble upon a tribe that's 150 years old and cut off from the world is like an astronomer meeting a Martian. It would be heaven to her. If there were Indians in the Oxbow, don't you think someone would have seen them by now?
Not necessarily.
You are a nutcase. So while she doesn't believe it, she has to see what's up. What is it you fellas say? We're burning daylight.
She's very educated, and my character's, blue collar and not so educated. They're somewhat at each other.
I told you to watch your step! You're not in a classroom!
Feel free to discharge, Mr. Gates.
It's a little Bogart and Hepburn and African Queen, that I guess is a good analogy.
Lewis!
They in fact do discover the Northern Cheyenne Indians living in the old ways, who've hidden out in this particularly rough, hard to get to area.
Good line on Mr. Personality here.
His name's Yellow Wolf. He's leader of the dog soldiers and the next in line to be chief.
Within the Cheyenne culture, the Dogmen were a military society that was, actually they were sort of renegades. They were sort of like Green Berets. They were extremely brave, ferocious warriors. And Cheyenne called them Dogmen or Hotametanea.
The possibility of there being a pocket of this earth, you know, in this shrunken world.
I'm glad she said it in their language, because I sure as hell couldn't.
Group of people who haven't been spoiled yet, who remain still untouched. The idea of that, of course, I think is wonderful.
Writer and first-time director Tab Murphy based his fictional fantasy around the non-fictional events of 1864.
I was a descendant of the Sand Creek Massacre. My great-grandparents, they were one of the few that got away. They were caught by surprise. They come running out of their teepees, screaming and crying, kids, women, and soldiers took advantage. They just shot them all.
There was a great storm. The Indians were lost and starving. A wolf appeared and led them to this valley. The wolf spoke, telling them to remain here, hidden from the white man.
The power of the story is that you can get away with, you know, fantasy, but in the deep inset of the movie, there's a lot of
This is Yellow Wolf, the leader of the tribe, talking.
By casting from both the northern and
the leader of the dog soldiers
tribes.
I said, I hope you guys will use mostly Cheyennes, because there are a lot of us descendants from them battles.
They were happy and thrilled, actually, that a story was being told about their history. And even though this movie really is fiction, it is based on a very real incident, and it's real for many of these people.
There's a cave halfway up. It goes all the way through the waterfall.
The presence of modern outsiders, however, poses a new threat to the Cheyennes' continued existence.
It's kind of a catch-22, isn't it? They're missing persons. People are going to start looking for them.
We can't let anything happen to these people. No one must ever find out.
All right, men, mount up.
Yellow Wolf says there's no time. They should stay and fight.
They'll get slaughtered.
The Cheyenne or the troopers?
No!
Everybody makes a sacrifice to ensure the survival of these people. This is what makes characters interesting to me, when they're faced with moral choices. If we had a chance, a second chance, to treat the Indians differently, would we?
All right, so there we go. That was it. That actually told a lot of the story. I'm glad I played that, actually. When I did, it was perfect time to actually do that, because I was just about to get into the story. This movie tells a lot about the story that I've already mentioned. A few of the battles that this movie is based off of, and even some real descendants of that battle in this movie, which is really, really, really fucking cool. So let's go ahead and, like I said, we'll kind of get into the movie a little bit. This movie starts out with Louis Gates. Again, you've got the rough exterior, the bounty hunter, the tough guy, and he's hired by the sheriff, again played by Kurtwood Smith as Sheriff Deegan, to track down. It starts out to be, like I said, 3 escaped convicts is who the movie starts out with him tracking down. Three escaped convicts. There was a bus crash, and the convicts, 3 of them got away, and they went to a part deep in Montana called the Oxbow Quadrangle. Now, this is a real place in Montana, actually. It's thick wilderness, and it's not easy to get through, and it takes guides to get through there, and that's exactly what Gates is. He's one of those kind of guides that he's just a loner with like I said, the rough past. We find out that he's also haunted by the death of his wife, and this is where another subplot in the story happens, when we find out that the sheriff used to be his father-in-law. He was married to the sheriff's daughter, and they were out in the rapids one day, and she died. He couldn't save her. So that's how all that kind of went through. So he goes through and he goes to find these guys, and he's going to find these 3 convicts, and he's staying out at night, him and his dog, him and Zip. Got to have the dog with you. And he's getting deeper into the forest, and he keeps finding weird things. He finds an arrowhead, then he hears some screaming one night and doesn't know what's going on, so he goes over to where he knew the convicts were staying. He already knew. He was waiting till daylight to get them. And then he finds their bodies, and there was like nothing left of them. But he realized that they couldn't have been caused by anything because he didn't hear guns or anything. But then he finds an arrow, and he becomes completely intrigued in what's going on. So that is where he goes, and this is where he finds Lillian, the anthropologist, Barbara Hershey, who specializes also in Native American history and Native American culture. She is completely skeptical. She's basically like, "Nah, this is not real. You're nuts," which we heard her say earlier. But she still is drawn to him because he's got a great story going on, and if he's right and there are surviving dog soldiers, she wants to find out and be that piece of history. So she does end up going along with them, but basically this is where I'll kind of start. So this is the first clip I'll actually go ahead and start playing. This is where she kind of explains a little bit about what the dog soldiers are. I explained it already a lot, but let's go ahead and let her explain it real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and go to that right now.
Where'd you find this?
In the Oxbow?
The Oxbow. Wasn't that just in the news? Something about convicts?
Yeah, I'm the guy they hired to find them.
Bounty hunter?
Please, civil servant, it sounds a little less...
Barbaric?
I tracked him for 4 days. Trail ended in a meadow 20 miles in. Somebody got to those men before I did. There was blood everywhere in that.
It's quite a story. You know what this is?
I call it a wild guess. An arrow.
Cheyenne arrow. Dog soldier, to be exact.
Dog soldier?
Within the Cheyenne tribe, there used to be a military society made up of the strongest and bravest men. They were fierce fighters, unyielding. They called themselves Hotametania, dogmen. The cavalry called them dog soldiers or suicide soldiers. They often acted as rear guard, a sort of sacrificial decoy, so the rest of the tribe could escape. You see?
What does it mean?
Nothing. Except maybe another one of your civil servants beached to those men.
So what about this?
An authentic reproduction. About $15 in any tourist shop.
All right. So we see her skepticism happening here right now. But as I said, again, she does end up going along with him to do this search. Now, I also said a few minutes ago that Tom Berenger, Lewis Gates, not only did this arrow become one of the things that he started looking for and researching and becoming very interested in looking for, but he goes to the library and he starts looking through the microfiche. Anybody remember microfiche? Did I just really age myself? And he starts going through, actually he ends up back at her house, begging her for the help. She starts telling him more stories, which gets him to the library. And he starts looking up old stories about Native Americans and all that stuff. And he finds one right local. And it is about a wild boy that they called Jocko. And I'm going to go ahead and play this whole scene because this whole scene actually will tie into the gentleman that said he was a descendant of the battle that we're talking about here. I need to get that battle name again so I don't just keep calling it the battle. But this is actually ties into him. So this was the second thing that really kind of got his attention going about what is happening in out there in the woods. So here we go, one more time.
Have starved. Nicknamed Jacko. Doesn't speak a word of English.
Good morning.
Hi.
How you doing today, Mr. Hollis?
When they gotta put some goddamn fish in this river.
Oh, you know, I talked to the game warden, and he assures me that this river is full of fish.
Yo, he's a liar. Why, when I was a kid, we'd come down
Mr.
here.
Hollis, this is Mr. Gates. He's gonna visit with you for a while.
Full of fish, my ass. Who the hell are you?
Wonder that myself sometimes.
Hand me one of them night crawlers, will you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is the gentleman that was actually on the train. You'll hear the whole story in a minute. I wanted to pause just so we didn't have the whole thing going there. So here we go. Let's go ahead and keep going with this scene.
Well, I understand you used to work for the railroad.
Not just any railroad, son. The Great Northern Pacific. 53 years.
Mr. Hollis, tell me about Jacko.
Jacko? Well, I'll be damned.
You remember then?
I remember. I caught the little runt.
What happened?
Been a hell of a lot of years since I thought of that. '35, I think it was. Me and old Ed Valley, we was headed up the Kootenai. Spur line needed some work. Sometime past noon, we spotted something run across the tracks. First, I thought it was a deer. Then I seen it was a boy. Well, Ed stopped the train, and we lit out after him.
Hey, there he is.
We chased him a ways, and finally cornered him down along the river. As soon as we got close, we seen he was the Indian. Didn't speak English, just sort of grunted.
What did you do with him?
Well, me and Ed didn't know what to do with him. He was cold and tired, so I wrapped him in my shirt. We brung him down to Sheriff Case. He stuck him in a cell because he didn't have no other place to put him. We nicknamed him Jacko because his face kind of looked wide-eyed and scared, like a jack-o'-lantern. Next morning, he was gone. We figured he squeezed out through the bars during the night. Well,
So there you go. That's the story of Jacko. And I know you're kind of like, wow, that really doesn't have a lot to do with any of this. It does. And I will show you in just a little bit how it has a ton to do with this movie. But yeah, that was that little part right there, which basically, that is how he definitely knows there is something out there. This really starts to pique his interest and him and Barbara Hershey start heading out. So this is where they kind of embark on their journey, if you will, and they start going. He goes back to the school where she teaches at Big Sky University, and basically tells her, we've got to go. He was expecting one of her students to go. Turns out it's her. She's going with him. And this is when they start going out on this journey. And, I mean, at one point she almost falls off a cliff, and he's like, what are you doing? We saw that part actually in the trailer for the movie where he was yelling at her. His dog Zip had to save him and her. But once the sheriff finds out his guys are dead and everything, he's not a happy camper because all those 3 convicts died, and he's still pissed off at Mr. Gates. So he wants to know what he's up to and what he's doing. So he's out looking for him. So they wake up the next morning, and this is like one of the most chilling scenes probably in the whole movie. They're going through, they wake up the next morning, everything's fine. They're kind of getting packed up and all that stuff. And next thing you know, I'm going to play the scene. I'm getting the scene ready as I'm playing this, folks. I apologize. Next thing, I'm doing all this myself, okay? Next thing you know, they do see the soldiers. And I mean, this is one of those movie scenes that you just get the chills the first time you see these soldiers, these dog soldiers, these Indian, these Native Americans coming out from the trees just in full dress, fucking scary looking warriors. So here we go.
No hop! Lillian! No hop!
And luckily she speaks Cheyenne.
Not be up Tottenham! No hop!
Yeah, if I met up in the woods with these guys, I would be a little nervous, to tell you the truth. Just a little bit nervous. But this is the first shot we see where they do finally meet these Cheyenne dog soldiers. And, I mean, as you can see, even this pause scene right here, this gentleman right here in the back, that is a scary-looking man right there. I mean, that would scare the living piss out of me. I mean, just absolutely amazing, though, some of the stuff. But they're not just, I mean, they do get taken, but this is where we meet Yellow Wolf. Spotted Elk is the gentleman that we've talked about a little bit, and we'll get into his stuff in just a little while here. But let's kind of keep going through this journey a little bit in the movie. As I said, I'm not going, I mean, we're already over an hour into the movie here. But I do have a few more scenes I want to play. They do end up actually getting taken, like kidnapped by the tribe. But from what a lot of people say, from all accounts, this tribe wasn't as bad as you thought. They were they weren't cannibals or anything. They would take you in, and if you were good, they kind of weren't. They didn't fuck with you. A lot of them people, and she even says in the movie, a lot of people just get absorbed into the tribe and travel with them and just sort of become one of them, which does end up happening in this movie to both of them, actually. But they do end up back at their camp. They see it. They knew they were right. And it's just, I mean, the doctor is absolutely blown away. So, here, come here, girl. Oh, sorry, I thought my dog wanted me to pick her up, but I guess she doesn't. But you guys are watching me fast forward through the movie, aren't you? Sorry about that. I forgot to mention his dog did get shot. Poor Zip got shot, and this little girl here ends up taking care of his dog for him. But as we kind of go through here, again, they're scared. His dog's been shot. He's not a very happy camper, but and once again, the sheriff is just looking for him, wants to find out what's going on. So they do talk a little bit to Spotted Elk, but they do find that there is one of the Native Americans is very sick and he needs penicillin. This is where, again, this movie is all not just about the Cheyenne tribe. It's not just about the bounty hunter. It's not just about a love story between these two complete opposites that end up together. That's all a part of it, but it's really watching this rough, gruff, grizzled, old bounty hunter just kind of turn in and find a new respect for himself and for humanity and for the Native Americans, which in the beginning he didn't have much of a respect for him. But he actually offers to go get the penicillin. He has to go steal it, and he does. But they let him go. He goes and steals the penicillin. The cops are after him. There's a great scene where the horse jumps the car. He grabs his hat in midair. It's pretty awesome. But he does go back, and he administers everything, and he even stole a little Pez dispenser for the girl that's helping him with his dog. But it shows over time they're starting to actually, they're not tied up anymore. Excuse me. And they're all just kind of getting in with the troops. So, folks, I need to get up one more time and let my dog out. So if you just excuse me for 1 second, one more time. Go, girl. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. One more time. We'll do that the last time. So they're doing that. They're being invited to ceremonies. They're getting a show of thanks for helping the everything going on. But they do know that Sheriff and his crew are getting closer. Then they take him, and he finds this little depot of, there's dynamite, there's guns, there's all kinds of stuff that they've got from people that they feel are trespassing on their land and have kind of taken out. But he finds all this stuff, and this is where they sit and they start talking to Spotted Elk. And this is where Tom Berenger, Lewis, realizes he just found Jacko. Here we go.
What, hon? This is Spotted Elk, the last surviving son of Lone Wolf.
Newa no ochime. Inde sewa se ochime. Nike te temo tenes mestomas. Ne sewa se ochime. Nito sto ochime adan mayan.
He wants to know if we've come to return him to the House of Iron Bars. Seems when he was a small boy, he was captured by some white men and put in a cage.
Jacko.
That's when he realizes it. He just put two and two together. He's a very intelligent man, obviously, and he realizes he has found Jacko. So the story was true. Play a little bit more of this scene.
Did you get a line on Mr. Personality here?
His name's Yellow Wolf. He's leader of the dog soldiers, next in line to be chief.
Guess it takes a real man to shoot a dog.
You should be happy they didn't eat him. What didn't I tell you? That's the other reason they're called dog soldiers.
Yeah, there's another reason they're called dog soldiers. I mean, look, when you get hungry, you do what you got to do, right, folks? You do what you got to do. I couldn't eat a dog. Couldn't eat my dogs, but I guess some people do what they got to do, too. They eat dogs. Whatever, right? But they go through, again, they're just kind of going through, they're helping out, but this is where they go through, and again, they get the penicillin. We're already past that part. I already told you about that. But again, they're with the tribe. They're really trying to be everything. But then they find the depot, and then they have a night where all of them are sitting around, and they're asking questions. And this is where you really see that they're becoming one of them, one of the tribe. So let's play this. This is honestly the last scene I have to play, and we're just going to talk about the movie for the rest of the time. And I've got a couple more little clips to play. But here we go with this last scene.
Oh, he wants to know about the silver bird with the long white tail. What's the near? Ik de hoino. Is it?
Okay, so she told him that what an airplane was. She's telling him about a watch.
Is it? Is it? Not honeo. Mat, da is it? Is the whole knitting? I just told the man walked on the moon. He just called me a wonderful liar.
Yeah. This just us. It's a watch the nehevil. Nah, I don't see watch the nehevil.
What is it?
He wants to know about other Cheyenne, how they're living.
What are you gonna tell him?
The truth.
Now, she does hear, but there are no subtitles, so it's really not something we need to go into and play. But she does tell him the truth of how most of the Cheyennes are wiped out, and, just kind of goes through all of it. And they're really, and basically tells them that they're one of the last tribes left out there. So, it was definitely a good moment. But this is also where they realize that the sheriff and his crew are not far away. They realize they're only about a half a day's ride away. And once again, Lewis wants to help. So he goes out and he starts helping. He wants to create a distraction so they can blow up and seal the way under the waterfall that you get to their tribe. So he wants to seal that so they can't get through. But he'll be on the other side. The doctor tells him he's staying. His dog even stays. The man is all alone, by himself, out there. And he does go and he does create a distraction, but it doesn't really work. And he goes, and you know what? I got one more scene I'm going to play. He's being chased by the cops. He's handcuffed. He's trying to shoot some dynamite that he had found. I did say he found some dynamite at that depot. So he can't do it, and this is where he sees Yellow Wolf. Now, these guys were kind of rivals in the beginning, but they've really become friendly with each other. So let me play this last clip. Last clip right here. And here we go.
Drop it! I'll kill you where you stand! Drop that damn gun! Do it now! Put it down, Gates!
we saw there, the cuffs are blown off, and they both go and they both hit the rapids, and he does for the sheriff what he couldn't do for his daughter. He actually pulls him out and saves him from the rapids. Cops decide to go back, and it shows the tribe moving with Barbara Hershey and the dog with him. And then it shows him and the sheriff talking and kind of working things out because he saved his life. He says he's just tired of being mad at him. And they talk, and then it shows Tom Berenger, who ends up back at the tribe and with Barbara Hershey. But as I said, it was a really good journey through this movie. And like I said, it not just a love story, not just the adventure, not just that, but watching the evolving of Louis Gates' character in this movie. It was really good. It was really good to see in a really, really well-made movie, this movie, though. But it really showed a lot about the tribe and how they lived and how they were basically isolated. I mean, we played that scene where they don't know what an airplane is. They just see them flying over. They don't know what in the hell it is, though. So, but you see throughout the movie, they become growingly sympathetic to the tribe's problems and what's going on, and they want to protect these tribes or this tribe, and God, maybe some more out there, who knows. But in the end, he did basically tell Deegan, Deegan's like, what's out there? And he goes, what do you think? And Deegan says, well, all right, whatever, I'll back off. And he does. But some of the themes that we see in this movie is kind of the clash between the modern civilization and the ancient cultures. It kind of highlights the impact that the modern society can have on these isolated little tribes that are out there. We see redemption, personal growth from Gates. Like I said, his journey throughout the movie is really an incredible thing to watch. But the main thing that this movie really kind of was known for and actually gained a lot of respect from the Native American tribes was that the respect for the Native American traditions. This movie really focused on them and showed them, and didn't try to shy away from them. But it emphasizes the importance of kind of maintaining, kind of working out that balance with, there probably are still tribes out there like this, folks. We don't know. There could be for all we know. There's parts of this world we don't travel to. So, but this movie portrayed the Native Americans with dignity. They weren't the stereotypical ones that you see in the Western movies or any other movies. But it showed a lot of things like that. So that was it. But I mean, really, folks, that's really all I have on this movie. I really think that this is one of those movies that, like I said, I didn't want to play a ton of the clips because I really feel that sometimes I play too many and you basically watch the movie, listen to me talk about it. I didn't want to do that with this. I really didn't. I wanted to just play a certain amount of clips to give you an idea of what this movie is about. This is one you need to watch yourselves. I do have a short little clip here on kind of the making of The Last Dogmen. We can go ahead and play that real fast if you guys don't mind. And we'll kind of wrap it up after that. Let's do it.
Barbara Hershey is Lillian Sloan, the anthropologist Gates turns to for help.
For an anthropologist to stumble upon a tribe that's 150 years old and cut off from the world is like an astronomer meeting a Martian. It would be heaven to her.
If there were Indians in the Oxbow, don't you think someone would have seen them by now?
Not necessarily.
You are in that case.
Did I play
So
this?
while she doesn't believe it...
Okay, I played this one already. Did I play this one? Hold on. No, this is another making behind the scenes. I don't think I played this one yet. I'm sorry. I think I played the other one. I apologize, folks. Let's do this.
Coming back here.
Hey, Steve.
you say thank you?
Now ish.
Now ish.
Michael is going to be sitting up.
To my feet.
Where's the rest? That's it?
No, I got a big half the valve leaf behind me.
Very slowly. Very slowly. Accept it.
Turn the bloody leaf toward you. And by then they'll have racked your eyes. You study the leaf, and then you just raise your eyes off into the forest. Let the leaf go. They'll rack back to the leaf and out of frame for you. You see a rope next time? Be nice.
All right.
And look in different directions, Tom.
Nice try.
Nice try.
Jesus Christ, los aficionados.
Top of the hill. Background.
Oh, that's very nice, but really I couldn't.
This is how they show things to the system.
Now ish. It's very beautiful.
I know you know when we're doing that.
He's got even one scratch on him. You don't get horse feed.
I'll trade him with kid gloves.
So, Richard, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Stay, Zip. Put your head down. Head down.
All right, I'm watching this and I'm really thinking this is really only good on YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there, but it was all on the making of the movie and kind of some behind the scenes stuff, and really for the YouTube guys, that was great. I apologize to everybody here on that, but one thing I did want to mention about that video, though, is if you really look at the lack of special effects that were used, because there really wasn't any reason to do them in the movie, but you know, it's just one of those movies that is a great story to watch. It really is. And that is what I think you guys need to kind of get from this movie, is that is a good movie to just sit and watch. You watch the story, you're looking at the the landscape of the movie, the setting of the movie is great, and it's just a great story about this Native American tribe that could be still out there for all we know. Who knows, man? Who knows what's out there in the world anymore? I mean, my God, at this point, I think I would want to live like that. I mean, Jesus Christ. Just let me get a TV and some. I got to find some electricity. I'll have to work that one out. But definitely, folks, this is a great movie to watch. Again, even if you just watch the whole journey throughout it, it's a great movie. I definitely recommend it. Again, Last of the Dogmen from 1995. Folks, I appreciate you guys joining me, and I'll tell you, next week, I think I might talk Captain Phillips. I was watching that today, and you want to talk about another great dramatic movie. And I don't think I've done a Tom Hanks movie at all. So I think I'm going to talk Captain Phillips next week. That's going to be a good one, really good one. That is a true story that we can deep dive into. And I love talking true stories. So we'll definitely get into that next week. And I appreciate everybody who's going to listen to this. I will get this put up everywhere. And I will get this put up on YouTube. But this is 100% one of those movies I definitely recommend. You definitely need to watch it. I hope me talking about it made you want to watch it and not playing as many clips. I hope the way I did this made you want to actually go and seek this movie out, because it is definitely one to go out there and seek out. So on that note, everybody, I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate everybody listening, and thank you very much. And we will see you next week, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good one, everybody.